Hi everybody, I'm KC.
And I'm JV.
And this is a very special, short update episode of the SwitchCast. We just have two main things we want to go over. First, we want to announce a contest that we're running for the month of December. And then we want to give you a little update on the state of the SwitchCast, basically, and just give you an idea of the plans we have in motion going forward and where we see the SwitchCast going right now.
Right, exactly. We kind of want to go over what our plans are on a technical standpoint, with our social networks and, all the projects that we have in the mix for the future.
Yes, and there will be a full episode, I'm thinking next week, so you can hold on to that. This will just kind of bridge the gap between full episodes for you. So, first off the bat, we have I guess I'm going to call it the SwitchStakes. Is that a good name?
I like it. I like combining things together to form a new word.
All right.
SwitchStakes.
That's fine. My favorite cheese is a portmanteau. And this one, it's a simple giveaway. We have a $25 Amazon gift card that we are ready to give out. And we have 3 methods of entry. First, we're going to be posting about this contest first on Twitter. And if you follow us on Twitter at the SwitchCast and retweet the giveaway post, that's one way to enter. We're also going to be posting this on Facebook. And to enter there, you have to share that contest post on Facebook and then join our SwitchCast group. That's the group where it's basically kind of been acting as our forums lately. And the final way to enter is to leave us a review for the podcast on iTunes. Each way that you enter is one more chance to win. We're at the end of the collection of entries period, which we'll probably do after, I'm going to guess 2 weeks. We'll give it. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, that does sound good. And I actually really like that we're doing this. It's a $25 Amazon gift card. You can save it and spend it on Switch games in the future, or you can use it now. And it's kind of our trial run, our modest trial run for future contests that we might do.
Right, exactly. So if you do all 3 of those, we're just going to collect... and if you've already left us a review on iTunes, don't worry. You're already going to have that as an entry that already counts. So if you're one of those people who reviewed us, you're already entered once. But you can still share our post on Facebook or retweet us on Twitter to get 2 more entries and triple your chances to win.
Yeah, and I like it. It's really not that difficult to enter, and it's just a way for us to say thank you to you guys for engaging with us.
Yeah, it's been a really great, basically a first month, but I guess that's the next section we're going to go into.
Yeah, the state of the podcast.
Yes, the state of the podcast. Okay, so... where should we begin with this? I guess we should talk about where we are on the iTunes and where the podcast itself has been rating.
Yeah, absolutely. I think right now we're the top Nintendo Switch podcast when you search for Nintendo Switch on iTunes. Yeah, that's a really big deal.
I think the only time we dip to number 2 is when the other podcast that's there, it's not even a Switch podcast, it's just a general geekery podcast. When they upload an episode before us, they take over the number 1 spot briefly, but then we upload ours and we're back.
Yeah, I really like that we're, the number 1 Nintendo Switch podcast because I think we're the only dedicated Switch cast right now.
We definitely are the only dedicated Nintendo Switch podcast, yes.
Yeah.
We really jumped on that right away, and I think that's one of the strengths we have, and it's been really helping our momentum and everything.
Yeah, I think we're so passionate about our excitement for this very specific console that we might as well just go for it.
Yeah, right, exactly. We just knew. It was intensity at first sight. We're also the number 6 podcast if you just look up Nintendo, and that's against some very heavy-hitting podcasts, like ones that have like 300,000 reviews. I mean, we're just showing up 6th in their list, so we've really shot up that search.
I listen to a lot of Nintendo podcasts, and the fact that we're kind of in the same places like Nintendo Voice Chat or Radio Free Nintendo, it's actually kind of an honor to me.
It's honor. It's also slightly intimidating to me, but I
mean... Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Those guys are very, deep into the Nintendo podcast world.
Right,
They're
right.
the big shots, and the fact that we're kind of in their vicinity is... It's really humbling.
It is. But you know what? we're psyching ourselves up. We belong there. We belong in that echelon. Heck, the Pallet Tribune, that was like the number one Pokemon podcast for years, and we were also very highly ranked in Nintendo for about 4 or 5 years that we did that show. So we shouldn't feel like strangers in this world.
Yeah, we're just finding our homes yet again.
Right, exactly. But I love all those other shows over there. And speaking of iTunes, we are currently taking a shot at, we want to make the new and noteworthy section of iTunes, and we can only do that in the first 8 weeks that we exist. And to hedge our bets, the more iTunes reviews we get, the better chances we have of making that. And if we make that, that's a very big boon for us, because for a couple of weeks we'll be exposed to exponentially more people. So really want to stress, we would love those iTunes reviews to help us make that level of featuring.
Right, we definitely want to do what we can to grow our community, and that would be a really big way to help us out with that.
Right, but we only have a couple of weeks left for that, so get those entries in.
Yeah, for sure.
In terms of the future, right now, it seems like we're doing, even though we were really shooting for like once a month, but then more news came out that we expected. So I feel like we're kind of in this bi-weekly kind of phase already with the podcast.
I think bi-weekly seems like a good, a good schedule for us. We don't seem to be doing too badly with that, so I think it's fine.
Right, as long as like the news just keeps coming in, and we have a couple of plans for how we're going to do features, and what we're going to do to fill in. Maybe like we just have enough news to cover maybe 30 minutes, maybe something else that we could talk about for a topic maybe. But we also started that other format that we did, the Switch Topics episode, which might be a thing in the future. It's basically only going to happen when a guest of interest shows up or a topic of very major interest to us comes up. So we're not going to do those all the time, just when the opportunity strikes us. Right.
And, those Switch Topics are alternate episodes. They could break the format, and they could even break our scheduling a little bit. Yeah. So we might release a Switch Topics in between 2 standard episodes. We're not dead set on that quite yet.
Right. That's just a way for us to break... Yeah, exactly what you said. It's a way for us to break the format and just kind of delve into something without... maybe just to make evergreen content, stuff that's not so much current events-based. Just talk about something that's eternally interesting, something that you could tune into a year from now and it's still relevant.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, we're not always going to guarantee that every other week, but it's something that we definitely are looking to do more often in the future.
Yeah. Like I said, it might be something that only comes up, something good once every month or two. Maybe it's something that'll come up next week. Who the heck knows? But that's the fun of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, though, we are interested in receiving submissions for topic ideas and any kind of news submission that people want to share with us that they think that they would like us to talk about on the show. I always send out a little post on the social networks just to kind of invite these, but you're always welcome, just so you guys know, to either message me on Facebook, Twitter, or I guess now you could actually email me, because JV just set us up with our own email address.
That's right.
And
so now you can reach out to us at kc@theswitchcast.com.
Right, and that's the letters K and C. So it's not CASEY. It's just letter K, letter C at the Pocket Play. Oh, my God, I did it again. Letter K, letter C at theswitchcast.com. If you have like a person that you think would be really great for our show, or if you want to be on the show, let us know, and we'll take all submissions like that into account. It really helps us, create content.
Yeah. And speaking of which, we're always looking for more guests as well. If there's anyone that's particularly interesting that you guys want to hear about, let us know, and we'll try to seek them out for an interview or to be on the podcast at some point.
Yeah. In fact, people have been asking me to show up on different podcasts now.
Yeah, I mean, why would they want that?
I don't know. I just did that show on the Poke Problems podcast again. I went over there to talk about this. And
yeah, they're always a really cool group over there.
Yeah, they're fun. And then there's some guy messaged me today who just does a podcast on podcasters. And he just messaged me and said, hey, you want to talk about your show someday? I'm like, all right, just let me know when.
That's pretty cool. That's a super meta podcast.
Right.
Okay. I like it.
Now, you may have noticed that right now, the podcast has been pretty G-rated. I was actually surprised when I've been listening to a lot of the other shows that, I mean, I always assumed Nintendo-wise it would always be, like, that would just be the default. But I feel like a lot of people, I mean, nothing wrong with it, but a lot of people are just very loose, and there's just a lot of... I don't know, just people who like to speak with a lot of F-bombs and that sort of thing. And it's not like I'm against that. I just feel like this show in particular, I just feel like it's more approachable if we keep it this way. We keep it in a maybe PG way. We're not into like... I just got a lot of messages already about people who are like, I'm very glad that your show can be listened to by... my children can listen to your show, and I don't have to worry about that stuff. So I didn't even think about it. I didn't try to do it, but I did it, and people like it.
And, if we weren't really having a problem with it before, we might as well keep that, keep going with the whole G-rated aspect. And we're still going to speak our mind, essentially. We're not going to censor ourselves in any way, but...
Right.
We'll always be mindful of whether children are listening or not.
Like, we're going to talk about, like, a Resident Evil game in the future, and there's going to be some gross stuff going on there, but I'm not going to be, like, I'm not going to say any, extra vulgarities just to, like, drive home a point. I guess that's my way of saying it,
Yeah.
We'll try to give, a little warning. Like, even one of my favorite podcasts, the Myth and Legends podcast, and he just talks about, like, Greek myths and stuff like that. But there's every so often there's an episode like, here's some really messed up stuff. Like, we're going to be talking about some horrible vampire stuff here and, Vlad the Impaler. So if your kids are listening to the show, maybe this is one you want to listen to first.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good route to take for us.
And finally, I just wanted to give thanks. We settled into our theme song. I think you guys have heard it the last 2 episodes. We have an intro and an outro music. I think we're going to stick with that. It's pretty cool and solid, and it was created free to use by an artist called Essa, and his link to his SoundCloud is on all our episodes. I think you want to check it out because he makes a lot of great music, and it's all free to use in case any of you guys want to make a podcast too.
Yeah, I actually really like his stuff, and the one we chose specifically for our opening is great because it sets the tone, and I like how chill it is.
Yeah. He does some good, very video gamey stuff. Like about a third of it's like intentionally NES sounding.
Yeah, and he goes through different genres, styles, and moods. So there's a lot that you can check out there.
Yeah. So I'm just glad we found that because we almost were going to hire someone to compose stuff for us.
But we didn't have to do that.
We might have. I mean, it's not the worst idea. It's something I would have considered if we didn't find anything good.
But we did, and the stuff we have now is great, so I love it.
All right, so let's move on to the state of our social networks.
Yeah.
Just last night, we hit 1,000 Twitter followers.
That's insane.
It's really crazy, dude. It's literally been, I think it's been 6 weeks at most since we launched it.
And it seems surreal. I never really thought we'd ever get that many followers so soon.
Right. There's just a lot of people who are looking this up. I've been engaging with a lot of the other news sites and just Nintendo dedicated feeds, and when I've been talking to them, and then people hear about us and they see what we're about, and they've been following us in droves, and they like the stuff the conversation we've been having on there.
Yeah. And, I really enjoy how active you are on Twitter and how you're engaging directly with our listeners too. So we definitely want to try to keep that up and be as part of the community as possible.
Yeah, I mean, these people aren't even just like talking and messaging. Like, I'm getting direct messages all the time, and I feel like I have to talk to them all. I don't want anyone to feel snubbed, so I really do try hard to respond to everyone as long as I'm awake and I'm not actually trying to do work at work.
Yeah.
Which is rare.
For you,
right.
Definitely.
Yeah, you're the busier guy at work. We understand that.
For potential hires of Casey, keep that in mind, maybe?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, either way, I mean, our Facebook group is also pretty big, too.
Yeah,
so.
It is. What are we up to on there now about?
I think we're about 200 people so far.
Nice.
Which is also insane.
Yeah, very, because I'll say it's a smaller group, but it's all active people pretty much.
Yeah, and it's really nice that you can see people's actual real names contributing to the Facebook. We're all a bunch of diehards who, are willing to put our personal selves out there to share this excitement.
Yeah. It's kind of acting as our de facto, like I mentioned before, it's our forum. People are more than welcome to post any articles or topics of discussion there. And we all enjoy just, having a chain of comments and talking about something.
Generally, we don't even stick rigidly to Nintendo Switch topics. True. If it's, loosely Nintendo-based, we'll share it. That's and we'll talk about it.
Didn't Josie post about, like, the Arby's... there was like an Arby's Chocobo advertisement or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Man, the Arby's is really good with their marketing nowadays. They really know their geeky target audience. It's pretty good.
As long as 80% of the content on there is Switch or very Nintendo related, I'm not going to police it too much. So
yeah, no. If you want to share it with us and it's pretty related to Nintendo in general, we're good.
I'm just excited we got our very first actual traction with Reddit.
Oh, that is huge.
That is crazy.
Reddit is a fickle beast.
I'll just tell you guys, I have watched endless numbers of posts for our other podcasts go up on there, and people just downvote it because they're like, no, you're just self-promoting. And it's not even me posting it, but they just assume they don't like blogs unless like you're really well known, I guess, a lot of times. I don't know, but it was very hard to break through or get interest on there. But for the first time, our last episode with AJ started a very long conversation thread, and a lot of people have found us on there. And I'm not allowed, Reddit does not like us to promote people leaving posts on Reddit, so I will not tell anyone to post our stuff on Reddit. I'm just going to say that if I see it, it'll make me happy.
It'll make two people happy, at least.
Well, there you go.
And you want to make people happy. We're all trying to spread the love here.
Right, exactly. And what about, now I'm thinking of, we have a lot of events coming up in the future. I think that it's about time maybe I start planning a couple of actual events through our Facebook group.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it'd be nice, since right now a lot of us are playing Pokemon, maybe it should be a night where we just organize a trading party, or like a little bit of if people want to battle, that's fine too. Just like a Pokemon night where we all meet up on Facebook chat.
Oh yeah, I absolutely would be A-okay with that. And the advantage that we can leverage with the Facebook groups is that we can set calendar events for this.
That's what I really want to try out.
Yeah, we can set up an event. The calendar will be there. It'll remind you while you're on Facebook, and you can invite your friends to join us. Yeah. So that's something that we can take care of in the future.
I think I'll schedule that for next week, and then we'll try it out, because I do have my Pokemon League next week. It'd be a really good idea for me right before my league meet. We have a night of trading and battling.
Yeah, I think that would be fun.
All right, cool. Just a heads up, guys. I'm looking for a Cubone, an Alolan Cubone. So get one of those for me.
Cubones are good.
I just love that Alolan Marowak. So cool.
Yeah. Okay. Though, actually, speaking of which, probably going to switch up our Discord chat pretty soon.
Discord chat? What's that?
So, if you guys don't already know, we have a long-running Discord chat for the PocketPlayers.com, which is our old podcast and website.
It's funny to call it old, even though it's been a month since I haven't used it.
Our last podcast and website, then that's better terminology. But it's still under the Pocket Players name. Pocket Players technically kind of doesn't exist so much anymore, so soon enough we'll be switching it over to the Switchcast Discord. And we can christen that area for the Switchcast finally.
All right, maybe we'll do that by the time this posts, and then I'll post an invite link on Facebook, Twitter, if anyone wants to join us.
Yeah, and we're on there all the time. During the day, it's on our phones, so if anyone messages anything, we can just see it on the go.
It's a pretty good hangout spot just for casually, engaging in. And we don't police the topics. We talk about anything there, but it's just a place to go to talk with other gamer-minded people who are all waiting for the Switch.
Yeah, and we all, it's a very tight-knit community right now. And so we're all pretty friendly with each other. We treat each other as equals. So, you can talk about anything you feel like. Nintendo talk is always encouraged, but, if you feel like talking about the new Final Fantasy game, we'll geek out and be excited with you.
Yeah, a lot of people are just talking about the 15, and I surprisingly, I know almost nothing about that game, so anything someone tells me is like a revelation to me.
As a quick aside about 15, it looks amazing, and you should try not to be spoiled if you're ever going to play it.
I probably won't.
If it comes to the Switch, you might.
Then I might, yes. I would play it on the Switch, that's true. Granted, I skipped 13.
13 is skippable.
Yeah?
13 was pretty skippable. 15, by the sounds of it, is, what the next Final Fantasy that everyone's really looking for.
Really interesting.
I think it's the one that really takes the name and excites people again.
I just see a ton of articles online. How to get the flying car?
There's a flying car? What?
Apparently, it's like the airship of the game. This is the only thing I know. I just saw like 10 articles telling you how to get the flying car. I guess it's something that you might miss or you don't have to get because you have to go do something special to get it. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But, it's good, and I really hope it goes on the Switch. I really hope it's ported for it.
All right, so we keep talking about everything going up on these social networks. Do we have a homepage in the work?
So we don't have a homepage just yet, but I am definitely working on the SwitchCast.com. The PocketPlayers.com is down, and we're transitioning everything to a new website. I want it to look good. It's not going to be one that we necessarily update frequently since all of you guys have your own podcatchers or methods to get our podcast anyway. Mm-hmm. But it's something that we want to have that look good so that we can present ourselves in a website. So
right. And, just a way for people to find us when they Google, the Switch and stuff like that. The more and more I've been talking to the community, the more and more times I find I would maybe write a little article here and there. I think when the Switch comes out, I might do a few more reviews, like printed, like features on things. So maybe that'll be something that'll go on there. But time, I am spending almost all my free time just preparing, editing, and playing enough games to talk about on the podcast. So it's not easy, but just with the community the way it is, I'm very pushed, I feel, to reach new heights in creating content.
Yeah, you listeners of the Switchcast are really motivating people, and you're all excited for this thing, and it feeds our excitement as well. Mm-hmm. Though it does take quite a bit of time and effort to write reviews and dedicate extra time for that type of stuff. So we're kind of thinking of doing a Patreon in the future at some point as well to make sure we're up on our game.
Yeah, what we're probably going to do is, because we are not just putting in a lot of time and effort in this, more than we have in anything a side project in the past, I feel we're also we're actually putting in a lot of investment now in this. We're actually taking this seriously. We're going out. We want to buy some prizes to give out. We want to have a nice website, and we're trying to get a lot of good equipment so that we can make a better podcast. In fact, something I didn't even think about until I was talking to Trogdor the other day. I didn't think about this.
Yeah?
If the Switch is going to be a portable that connects to the TV, that means it possibly or probably will have an HDMI port. Does that not seem reasonable?
At this point, I'm pretty sure it's expected to have an HDMI port. So
yeah, so that means I can hook it up to a computer very easily to do streaming. It would not be hard for me to stream with that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We can definitely explore the streaming route and the Let's Play routes in the future. I think that's within our realm of capability, but we'd have to do a lot of upgrades to our rigs, system, and recording studio.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm not just dropping this out there, guys. It's a hint. I'm just saying that literally, I would love to start doing some Let's Plays, and a big goal for a Patreon, if we did one, would be to reach a point where we can do that, where I can upgrade the needed upgrades so that I can give you guys some live content, play games in a way with you live and interacting so we could all have some fun. Because that's something I tried doing before, but my current computers are just not up to said task.
Yeah. Your computers specifically aren't. Knowing your system.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah. I would, but I'd still need the HDMI technology or the port technology to actually stream a console. And it's a lot of time, a lot of money from our own pockets. It takes a lot of resources.
Right. And I'm just glad though that I don't have to think about modding my Switch to do this, because I wanted to stream 3DS games, and that would be a whole lot of modding sort of involved with that. Even my iPhone streams weren't great without some sort of extra equipment. So the fact that this is just something that I just need a good computer to plug it in and stream would totally be great, and would be great for our YouTube channel.
Right, and not only just streaming or producing additional content, the content that we're creating now, the podcast itself, it costs money to host. We need to pay money for servers and the software to make edits and upload content. All that stuff costs money, so this isn't our Patreon plea right now. It's just stuff that's on our mind.
We're just telling you guys what we're planning in the future. So yeah, I just want you guys to follow us every step of the way. We like to be open. We're totally honest with you guys. We're really not like hiding anything. We're this is who we are at all times.
Right. Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, and I can't believe I forgot to even mention the YouTube channel that would have gone in our social media thing. But the YouTube channel is where we've been posting all of our podcasts also. But it's been getting a decent number of views too. I think we have about 600 views of our last episode on there. And more people are subscribing every week. So in addition to the about 1,500 iTunes downloads we have another 1,000 on YouTube, which is really cool too.
Yeah, I think it's a really good avenue for people to see our content. A lot of people search for stuff on YouTube to listen to while they're doing other things. So that's just another way to get our content out there.
So I just want to wrap up this episode here with a little bit of a community pulse, just to give a call out to some of our great supporters who have already been leaving us great reviews. And I thought I'd give a shout out first off here to one of our great and longtime supporters, Joe Cab on iTunes. And his review on iTunes was, "Great to see a great Switch podcast has hit the ground running on the Nintendo Switch. Both hosts are funny and entertaining, offering plenty of real-life info on the Switch gaming world, mixed in with interesting speculation. I like it, and I suspect you will too."
He's a really good guy, and we've known him for a long time. So, we've had history with the guy, but he's always the type that would call us out on projects that suck. Yeah,
right.
So the fact that he would honor us, by actually endorsing this podcast is very humbling.
And
I think.
To also call out someone who we don't know in the past, to go on the other side, this is someone I've never met before. He's a totally new listener and subscriber. This review is titled Honest Review, and the user is, "Why are you making me choose another name?"
That's a really good name.
Yeah. And he or she wrote, "This is a good podcast. They broke down Nintendo Switch in many different ways I've never looked at. I hope they keep bringing other guests to keep the podcast fresh. Good luck into the future of this podcast." Thanks a lot.
Yeah, it's funny you should mention the guests. That's something that we are very much looking into.
Right. It's something we want to set the right tone, and we're just looking for great personalities with interesting things and interesting perspectives to add to this. So
yeah, and I really appreciate that you said that it's an honest review. It's very, very heartwarming that you guys would take the time to review us like this.
Right. So I think that's all we want to do for this episode. Like I said, we just wanted to keep it short and get you guys up to date with what we're doing behind the scenes a little bit here. Feel free always to contact us if there's anything you feel that you'd like to know. We're pretty open, so you can always contact us either by messaging us on Twitter at the SwitchCast, the SwitchCast Facebook group. You can look at our Twitter profile, and it has a link to all these things as well on there. Or you can just email me any questions you have. Now that JV set us up, I'm kc@theswitchcast.com. And don't forget the contest. Like I said, by the time you hear this episode, the posts will be up for you to share and retweet to enter for that $25 Amazon gift card.
Yes, and, if this SwitchStakes goes well, we are definitely looking to do more contests in the future.
Definitely.
Just like this. So keep an eye out on future episodes for more contests.
Yes, very cool. And until next time, everybody,
switch it up!